Good morning, Nick Goldschmidt, winemaker of Goldschmidt Vineyards, Forefathers and Boulder Bank, and I'm here to talk about closures, which is very important if you're having a wine shipped from a winery on VinoShipper. And these are some of the things that we as winemakers think about when we choose a closure. Everybody understands what a cork is, and everybody understands that it's a natural product. But what a cork is basically a piece of bark with the grain of the tree running up and down the cork. And the reason why corks work is that if you pick up an empty bottle, one that you've hopefully finished consuming, just put your finger inside that neck of that bottle, and inside that neck you'll feel a lot of ridges that are formed when the mold for that glass is formed. So when we take a cork like this and we squeeze it like we do with corker jaws in a corker when we're bottling, we squeeze that cork and we shove it in the bottle. So if you see a cork before it goes in the bottle, it's actually larger than the neck of the bottle. And I should have brought one here today to show you, but trust me that we have to squeeze it to get it in the bottle, and when we squeeze it, it actually pushes back out against that glass. And because the glass has these ridges in it, a cork is a very good product because it naturally pushes back out against the glass and forms a really good seal. Alternative corks are ones that we call 1+1s or 2+2s or disc corks. You know when you open a champagne bottle, you see those discs on the bottom of that cork? Well, we can also do that with a natural product too. And so you'll find one disc or two discs on each end, and then the rest of the cork is made up of all sorts of cork material. Could be bits and pieces just all sort of glued together, but the most important part of course are these discs, which may or may not come in touch with the wine depending on which way the cork goes in the bottle. So these discs are very high quality cork. Another thing that we use, or another product that we use, is a synthetic cork. A synthetic cork is also a very good closure because it's a neutral product, and so it doesn't enhance or put anything into the wine at all. So let's just talk about these closures for a minute. The problem with a cork, and the reason why cork gets negative press, is cork is a natural product and can absorb other compounds in the air. Cork also has its own flavor. So when wine comes in touch with cork, you can A, get a cork flavor, B, have random oxidation. Random oxidation occurs when that cork doesn't quite push back out against the glass, and so you get some oxygen passing past the cork. Or 3, you'll hear people talk about TCA or TBA, trichloroanisole, or some of these other products that impart very negative or cork taint to wine. So there are the 3 inherent issues with a natural cork. You know when you sit down at a restaurant and the waiter pours you a glass of wine and you're supposed to pick it up and say whether it's okay or not? Well, some people are sensitive to the problem and some people are not. The best way for me to describe it is, you know when you walk into a house that's been closed up for 2 or 3 months and you get that big waft of sort of dusty aroma that you get off the carpet of the house? That's sort of what a TCA smells like, or that's what a cork taint smells like. And those are the sort of characters that we want to get away from. And we believe that there is a very high percentage of wines that are affected by one of these 3 components. I don't want to talk about those numbers because that varies according to particular winemakers, and some of it is a little bit subjective. So a way to avoid that is synthetic cork or a plastic cork. A plastic cork does not have any cork flavor, does not have any cork taint, but what it can have is it can have some random oxidation. Sometimes that synthetic cork does not have that natural push out against the glass. So synthetic cork does have its issues, but it certainly doesn't have the cork taint or the cork flavor that may be imparted by natural cork. So if we look at 2 bottles of wine, this wine here is obviously bottled with a cork, and you'll know that obviously when you take the seal off and you'll see the cork in there, and obviously you've got to use a cork puller to pull that off. One thing that you'll see a lot of these days, particularly from the New World countries, are what we call screw cap wines. These wines are fantastic, or these seals are really fantastic because they don't have cork flavor, they don't have cork taint, and they also don't have random oxidation because it's not an internal seal. So this seal is basically just one that will turn and the wine is ready to go. We can make a popping sound with our mouth if we want, if that's what is important to you, but this seal is very clean and very pure, and certainly does not detract from the wine itself. You may say, well, what about aging potential? The reason why we use a cork is that we'll get some aging as time goes on by using a natural product that goes on the inside. That is true, but we can also get that with a screw cap as well. And when you open this screw cap, there are two forms of cap. If you see one that's shiny or very reflective back at you, so when you open it and you look at it, as in the case of this one, it'll reflect back at you. This is a tin cap. If you open it and you'll see a white sheen on the inside, that's what we call Surinax. And Surinax actually allows a small amount of oxygen to pass through that closure just as a cork would. So please don't be put off by a screw cap. I think that these products are very important to the future of the wine industry as we try to move forward in terms of maintaining consistency, maintaining the quality that the winemaker put in the bottle, and certainly it's a product that we can recycle and reuse just as what we can with a natural cork as well.